Shenanigans, truth, lies, shenanigans.
Welcome to the Truth, Lies, Shenanigans podcast. My co-hosts today are the lovely Gianni, Storm, and our resident nature lover, Robbie.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, everybody.
All right, before we get into this debate on global warming today, I gotta ask, have you guys ever been in a storm or weather event that just truly scared you?
Never.
Really?
You know what? But that's actually, I think weather and certain natural disasters is what's hindering me from moving to like California
Really?
or, yeah, to be honest, certain parts of the United States because of that type of fear. But the most extreme weather I've been in was a blizzard in
Hmm.
Rhode Island. And I was really little, but it wasn't scary. It was fun. So I can't relate.
I can imagine it being fun.
Yeah. As a
Most of the
kid.
blizzards I've been in were fun, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can say firsthand that I have been on the roadways during a major blizzard
Yeah.
when the plows haven't had an
Ooh.
opportunity to go through, and it was at night, so it was absolutely scary because when
Oh, that is scary.
you have an idea of where the road is, but you're also hydroplaning, you're trying to keep all of your momentum up because you know that if you stop, you're
Mhm.
just going to sit on a block of snow.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Freeze.
Yeah.
That is
That's
scary.
absolutely scary. Yeah. Ice storms. I've had the misfortune of being caught in ice storms on the road,
Yeah.
and that's scary. when
That is
everything's a
scary.
skating
I've
rink.
done that.
What
Mm.
is that? Like
Yeah.
hail?
Ice
What is-
storm?
Well,
No.
no. Like freezing rain. Like
Yeah.
basically the rain is coming down. Water
Oh.
freezes at what, 32?
Yeah.
So it
water
comes
freezes
down and
at
it gets
0.
frozen?
At zero. You said, what is
Water
it?
freezes at 0. That just makes more sense. But when the rain is coming down at that freezing point and it just washes everything over with glare ice, that is a scary mess for pedestrians,
I've
for
never
drivers.
No, I've gotten caught in that. Yeah, because I remember I went
in
down
DC.
in DC, and we get a lot of freezing rain in DC just because we're on that borderline between cold and warm. So we get a lot of freezing rain. So I was on the road. I ended up going, I thought was going to be a shortcut. And I knew it had just started freezing rain. And so I went down the hill thinking that
Mhm.
I could get away, but then people had already crashed into each other. The only way out was to go back up the hill.
Oh,
And I
my
tried
goodness.
it, and then I'm like, oh no, we're gonna park right here,
We're going to keep it.
and we're gonna walk. We ended up getting a hotel room.
Okay. Smart, safe.
Freezing
That's
rain
scary,
that's no
guys.
joke.
No.
The scariest one I've ever been in was you know what a derecho is?
No.
Yeah, I didn't know either until I was in one. So basically, it was summertime, and
Mhm.
just started raining a little bit. And all of a sudden, the winds are just whipping by like crazy, pushing you back. It was hurricane level winds.
Like a
And I was like,
tornado?
stuff was flying by like a tornado. And it wasn't a
Ooh, that's
tornado.
scary.
It's called a derecho. And it was something I learned about in that moment as I was caught. I was out on a date
where
and we
I
had to go
learned.
run into some
You
building.
were on a
And
date?
things were flying by. We're like, okay, this is ridiculous. And yeah, jumped into a little pizza place on the side. And we're like, anyway, all right.
Doing something cute, flying a kite.
That's
now your date's gone
interesting.
half
Yeah,
a mile.
exactly. Yeah. The ratio. Just so look it up. It's a crazy, crazy storm. All right. So let's get
I
into this
have to.
topic. We're talking about global warming, and this global warming debate gets heated. See what I did there?
Yes.
See what I did there?
Uh-huh.
So is it real? Is it not real? Now, it's been proven it's real. So
Yeah.
let's put that off the table. We understand global warming is real. But here's what's been bothering me. I've been wondering what's so bad about global warming? Like when you think about it, greenhouse gases and global warming is exactly how you'd kickstart life on a barren rock like Mars. And you got those atmospheric rivers that are hitting California. They're causing those mudslides for all those rich people who decided to build their houses in the side of a cliff. I get that. But over time, those constant rains are going to create a lush environment in a desert. California, for the most part, is a desert environment. Polar bears, the penguins, we're probably saying bye to them, right? It sucks.
Sad.
It sucks,
Yeah.
right? But let's not forget that life on Earth thrives in warmth. So more heat could pave the way for a whole bunch of new species to emerge and thrive. So I'm going to lay it out there. I think climate change is actually a good thing for the planet. So is this truth, lies, shenanigans? I'm going to start with Gianni Storm because I know Robbie has some thoughts on this.
I think this is shenanigans.
Okay, you're on the fence.
Neo?
Already.
Yes, I'm on the fence. I mean, in essence, it does kind of, you make a good point when you say a warmer Earth overall does produce new species. It probably does produce more food, but when it's too hot, it'll dry it out. Like that's why we have the fires and the droughts and such things like that. And when you said some new species, I'm like,
Rob is happy in
new.
the background.
I'm just
Rob's
smiling,
like, he's making
smiling
my
and
point.
nodding.
Smile and wave. No, but I think that I think that the new species coming in will be like new bugs. There's not going to be a new mammal that forms unless it's like through the evolution of time. Like
That's a good point, actually.
I don't think I would like, the effects of global warming, but I do agree to that point though, Neo, that we can start looking at the good things that come from it and maybe using that towards the action to maybe prevent. Well, we're not going to prevent it. It's coming, guys. But maybe utilize some of like the new concepts to kind of like mitigate or just at least work in it.
Yeah, you make a good point on the bugs. But again, when we're talking about the planet, it's not necessarily a bad thing because bugs are food for other species. We
Point.
get a more biodiverse.
Or pests
Well, pests to us.
and
They're pests.
plants.
Actually, there's more carbon dioxide in the air, which is food for plants.
Providing it's an environment in which we can survive.
Well,
Our species.
Okay.
who cares about us? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
the planet,
In the grand
Right.
scheme of
we're
things.
killing the planet anyway, right? So the planet's basically getting.
Yes, please, keep making my points. Keep making my points.
So go ahead.
I'm going to rest my voice.
Go ahead, Rob.
My gosh.
But like Gianni was saying, like once the polar ice caps are gone, because the oceans are getting warmer, that's measurable. Larger chunks are breaking off. So once that ice is gone and the water has risen to its level, the climate is just going to be warmer and more humid for a period of time. But then we're going to burn off that water. We're going to propel ourselves towards a Mars type of environment. Just by burning off that water, and this is over a long period of time. But
No,
I'm
I
hoping
don't,
that
I don't
we'll
know if
reach
that's
that.
true. Global warming is how you create
Like,
But
burn
I'm
off the
hoping it's
water.
more
What does that
of
mean?
a reset that Mother Nature is going to do, because if the dominant species is no longer able to live in its environment because of the damage it has done, that's
The Earth will
absolutely the
die.
reset balance. No, the Earth won't die. The human race might die off, but the Earth will be fine after, I don't know, depending on the damage we do, 10, 15,000 years. It'll be a
So the Earth
fresh
doesn't need people,
ecosystem.
is what you're saying?
Oh God,
Oh, hell
no.
no.
We're a parasite. Look at what we do to the planet, Johnny. Our numbers have increased to such unbelievable
What?
proportions that we do nothing
I
but cause damage.
disagree. I think that yes, we exploit the Earth. Mother Earth
Yes.
is like, if Mother Earth was a person, that she would be like, mm-mm. But I feel like I feel like we do a lot to exploit it, but if we didn't utilize the resources of the Earth, I know I sound crazy, but if we didn't utilize the resources of the Earth would
It
just
would
be like,
replenish.
I don't know. I feel like we kind of need that offset of give and take with the Earth. We're taking a little bit too much, but I'm just saying, I think the Earth needs us
Well,
too.
let me give you an analogy, Johnny. If you leave an ant colony in a tree for long enough, what's going to happen to that tree?
I
It's
don't
going
know,
to become,
holes?
you're going to remove all of the resources that it needs to be a thriving, living ecosystem. It's going to die off. If the human race grows to that point, there's a lot of damage that we can do that can really harm things for tens of thousands of years, potentially. But eventually, as long as we don't split the rock, then the Earth
Yeah.
is going to be fine.
I think termites
But-
would have made your point better, Rob. But I get what you're saying.
So we're the termites of the Earth.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Fair.
Rob.
The loss of biodiversity has deep impact, because if we lose one species of insect, one species of frogs, that is a staple food for the food chain. then it impacts everything about the earth, Johnny. And then what we're doing is we're killing off the entire species.
Yeah.
The increased health risks to humans, the dust storms that we were seeing in the US with the cattle farmers.
Oh
Like
yeah.
these new,
Yeah, that was
right
crazy.
there's like a new type of spore that's able to
Yeah,
survive in these dust storms that's causing respiratory problems. So
that's true.
these are the types of things that we're absolutely doing. And
All right, I'm gonna challenge you on a couple of things. So first, using the Mars analogy, we wouldn't actually,
Hmm.
Earth would not turn into a rock like Mars, a dust rock like Mars. That's just not accurate because there's more water on the Earth than there is land. So in actuality, with more greenhouse gases, there would be more humidity. There would be more actual water within the air because it's steaming up within the
So a
air.
flooded Earth. So
Yeah,
like,
in essence, a flooded Earth. Well, your polar ice cap's going to make the water levels rise, right? Because they're going to melt. And then with the greenhouse gases, what it does is it creates more of an atmosphere holding in the
mm,
water,
Mhm.
steam. It increases
gases.
the level of atmosphere. So now the water is going to be rising into the air and it's going to be circulating throughout the Earth. So the whole
That's
idea
horrible.
of it being
Yeah.
burning off is not accurate. It's not going to burn
But
off. It's just going to
if you
spread the water
increase
around and increase volatility.
exactly. So now, so most of the
Good
Earth's
point, Neo.
water is salt water,
Right.
correct?
And it's going to become fresh
It is.
water.
So no, what? So if you have more of one solution and you mix it with another solution in a smaller concentration,
Hmm.
what's going to become of that smaller concentration? Right? It gets absorbed. So what I agree, Neo, you're right. We're going to see more water in the atmosphere, but we're going to see freshwater deposits get salinated. And we're going to see a lot of
Why?
plant diversity die off
Because
because
if the
it's
atmosphere is
ocean water
Pets are
that's
gonna
polluted.
die off.
ocean,
Ocean water is rising into freshwater systems, therefore increasing the salinity of the freshwater. When you increase the salinity of the freshwater, you kill off entire species of plants. It becomes
Oh,
barren, it becomes unsustainable because the salt goes through the cell membrane that's just not prepared for it. So now, if you add this to our rainfall, there are definitely some plant species that are accustomed to seawater. There are other
salt,
plant species
rain.
that are absolutely not accustomed to it and don't do well with it.
They'll die
but
immediately.
you're missing out the point of increased rainfall.
But
He's
the
saying
kind
it'll
of
be
rainfall
Significantly
that you're
increased
getting, Neo,
rainfall.
if you're getting salty rainfall, then
You
that's
can't
going
get
to
salty
rust all the-
rainfall? What are you talking
That's
about?
what he's saying.
But
Okay, so explain.
How do you get salty rainfall?
if that's all that you have to draw from,
What are you talking about? Why would that be all you have to draw for? You're getting rainfall, which is fresh water. So it's a significantly increased amount of fresh water because it's in the atmosphere and it's raining more. So, I mean, there are going
All
to
right.
be lakes, there's going to be rivers, and rivers are going to get larger. I mean, yeah, the concentration of salination is going to increase in the oceans. Well, not necessarily because a lot of the fresh water.
ground supply. But no, you're right. I checked it. I'm out to lunch on salt rain.
I'm like, saltwater rain? Where does this come?
It's just gonna be a lot of rain in general, whether
It's going to be a lot
salty or
of
not.
rain. It's going to be violent. So I get that. But again, more fresh water. And I'm going to challenge you on biodiversity. Yes, again, we're going to lose those cold weather animals potentially, like the polar bears and the penguins.
A lot more than that. Birds. I
Yeah,
mean, there's gonna be a lot.
Yes, it's
of
going to be a
vital-
lot. It's
Neil's
going to be a
like,
lot.
yeah, whatever. Who cares about the
But
crows?
We've lost species of worms, frogs,
but the
which are stable.
with more
Ew.
warmth, with more warmth and more water within the
Reptiles?
atmosphere, more warmth and more water within the atmosphere leads to more life and more diverse life. If you
Put-
compare the
What's an
Amazon,
example of that?
if you compare
Okay,
the
that's a good
Amazon,
example.
which is basically what you would be creating, on the Amazon type environments, ecosystems will expand where
Oh,
ecosystems like Canada, Alaska will now turn into
right.
more temperate environment. So I'm just saying there would be more biodiversity as greenhouse
So that
gases and
movie Avatar is like foreshadowing what the Earth is gonna be, like this big, huge, like the trees are gonna be 500 feet tall, and the humans are now. No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
But that's kind
potentially.
of what you're
No.
It's just
describing.
But-
Like,
It's just going to be less
Yeah.
cold areas on the planet, or there's going to be more temperate areas on the planet. Matter of fact, it's going to be more available land. I mean, if you think Antarctica is probably never going to be like super hot, but
No.
it may become warm enough to actually populate. So,
Like New Zealand or something, or
mhm,
Greenland.
yeah, and we'll actually be able to see
Interesting.
land because, of course, all the ice is melting off. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a good thing, especially for humanity and certain species. That's a
Animals.
bad thing for
Yeah.
certain species. But overall, for the planet, it's a good thing. Like I said, it's exactly what we would
Oh,
need
yeah.
to do if we were trying to terraform Mars, is we would have to create a lot of greenhouse gases, improve the atmosphere, make water circulate through the atmosphere, fresh water, because right now Mars is nothing but ice, right? So,
Mhm.
or the water is
What?
ice right now. So, if we could terraform, then the water would come up to the atmosphere, life would thrive. So, I'm just saying there are
Yes.
some benefits to global warming for
For the
humans
Earth.
necessarily, for the Earth.
Exactly. Starship Earth will benefit from it, whereas the human race, well, I mean, we're going to be another part of the fossil record. We're going to be an
That'll be our
interesting part of the
downfall.
fossil record for any other species that comes to the planet.
We don't deserve this planet.
No,
Speak for yourself.
no.
I take
Humans don't
very
Gianni,
deserve
good.
this planet. The way we've treated,
We're a species that lives in excess, has no control.
do.
The
We
writing
do.
has been on the
It is
wall
nasty.
for decades, and
That's true.
people still want what's theirs, what they feel entitled to, regardless of the cost or the impact down the road. Because it's during my lifetime, it's not a big deal. And that is
That's
the
true.
overwhelming mindset, unfortunately, that's going to lead to the desolation of humanity through climate change.
Oh yeah.
Over time, there's going to be a lot of brilliant innovation throughout that time because we're a cunning species and we have this
that was my next point.
Like
primordial
water
urge
fuel
to survive. Um, anything,
or
Johnny.
plant
It's
fuel.
like hydro power generation. There's going to be a lot of technologies developed to try to mitigate the water, to try to control the water flow. But at the end of the
Live
day,
in it.
Mother Earth always wins. Mother Earth
Oh
always
yeah.
wins.
Oh
And
yeah.
when we just push that reset button just a little bit too far and it actually initiates, we're done. Within a matter of
Mm.
generations, it's going to be quick. And the Earth will have a recovery period through which any species that did survive will then be prone to speciation. We'll have another
That's
rich
scary.
biodiversity and a
Do you,
dominant species that will emerge from that.
do you think that that's happening now, or it's still to come, like for a while?
Oh, it's still to come, but
Oh,
2 minutes to midnight, they keep moving that needle closer and closer and closer to midnight.
Yeah, I was online looking at the Spectator website, and there's an article by Matt Ridley called Why Climate Change is Good for the World. He says, don't panic. The scientific consensus is that warmer temperatures do more good than harm. Um, Analysis suggests the overall effects of climate change could remain positive until around 2080. And then that's when things start to go
we're
the
gonna be
other
alive.
direction and be more negative, especially for humanity.
Mhm.
But I don't know. You mentioned the technology. Now, over time, I mean, humans will work to resolve these problems as they become problems. I don't know
Yeah.
that we'll die out. I don't think the earth is going to become so volatile so quickly that humanity will just die out. It will be very hard for some of us to survive in many of those environments. The hurricanes will increase, the volatility. We won't be able to live on the coastal lines as we once did. It's going to change how we live. I think
Adaptation.
we've got AI, robotics. They've even figured out how to make crops grow in salt water. I mean, I think we've got all these things happening that can solve ultimately a lot of these problems. So I think we'll continue to figure things out in a hot environment because there's nothing that suggests that the world or the planet will be destroyed as we increase greenhouse gases. I mean, we can
I mean,
increase
severe weather.
severe weather, but the planet itself will not be destroyed.
Mhm.
Humanity may be
No.
destroyed,
Yeah,
or
they never said that.
and many
Yeah.
species will be killed off. But there's nothing to suggest that the planet will be irreparable, will be damaged to an irreparable state. There's just
That's
nothing to
true.
suggest that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there like that barrier that we have around our Earth, and then there
The atmosphere.
is, yeah. literally. But I'm saying, isn't there something where there
The
something
ozone
is burn
layer
our
is what
sun
you're
is
referring to.
burning through?
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
ozone
Yeah, the
layer.
the
ozone
ozone.
layer.
Thank you, Rob. And so it's burning through the ozone layer. Wouldn't that mean that the Earth is not repairable because you can't rebuild the ozone layer?
The ozone layer is no longer a major issue anymore. We were pumping what's called chlorofluorocarbons into the air with the aerosol sprays that we were using.
Yeah.
And so we were
Yes,
destroying the ozone layer. The ozone layer has actually healed over time. So that's
Oh,
not a major issue as it once was. We fortunately stopped doing that. Even the ozone layer being as it was, yeah, it would have killed humans and it would have killed a lot of species. But again, I
Mhm.
really feel like in time, Earth would have healed from us. I
so
mean, now
we're
if
the
we,
problem again,
we
once
no, no
again.
question we're the problem. There is no
We're
question.
the rash. We are the cancer, Johnny.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you were to compare what
So why
humanity
is there an
does
Earth?
to its host, why is there an
This
Earth?
is a deeper. This is a deeper. I'm not saying that the Earth belongs to humans, but I'm saying, hear me out. Here's my point.
I think I
I
know
feel
what you're
like,
trying to say. Yeah.
yeah, like Earth and humans are kind of like we benefit from each other. So I think even though we're the rash, we can also be the Noxema cream. Like we can be the solution to things, and we can actually help the Earth thrive.
To Gianni's point, if we want to believe in natural selection, if we want to believe in evolution, then
Eh,
Earth created us, which means possibly that we were a good thing for the planet, is what I think she's trying to say. That
that is what I'm
humanity
Mm.
saying.
is good for the planet because Earth created us. If we were to believe that we started from the amoeba to humans, the Earth birthed us. To another point, I mean, not every child turns out great.
That's true.
Dude,
That's true.
my
Some
body can
kids
birth
are.
yeah, but
Uh,
my body can birth a cancer cell, and that cancer cell's no good for me.
Oh my gosh,
So
that's true.
if we're following your analogy, let's see it all the way through.
That's a good point, Rob.
yeah.
A really, really bad rash, a bad irritation for the planet. As things continue to change, it becomes a less habitable climate for our species. If we have the violent storms and we have more rainfall, then some of our crops are not going to be sustainable at all. So we're going to see an oversimplification of the diet because we're not going to have as many animals.
Oh yeah,
It's
a lot
it's just
changes. Yeah, I didn't
part and
think about
parcel
that.
of everything. And when it changes quickly,
But there'll be more
the,
other
the,
animals.
the greedy
We have to
greedy
start eating
hairless
crickets.
no.
We have to start
Oh
eating
Yeah,
no,
crickets
there's gonna be a
because there
lot
will
more
be a
like
lot more
reptilian
crickets.
yeah.
Be a lot
And then
more
it's a
bugs to
supply
start
and
eating.
demand.
mosquitoes.
It, and it's a supply and demand. It's a supply and
Yeah,
demand because eventually
it's
it
gonna be
will
a
go
horrible
soylent.
Earth to live on. The
Dude, it's
mosquitoes are
going to go
gonna be the
soylent
size of
green very
us.
quickly.
I'm gonna say
Oh,
I think I'm less worried about global warming than I am about just general sprawl. As we spread out, we are dumping chemicals
oh
into our
yeah,
water supplies. Sanitation becomes a bigger issue the more people that we have on the earth. Resources, of course, we're not going to be able to make as much food. We already see what's happening to animals and the way our food sources.
yeah.
Countries that formerly accepted waste and garbage from North America have closed their borders.
Yeah.
Oh my
Like there's
god,
Plastics, I think, are
yeah,
probably a bigger issue.
microplastics are everywhere. Yep.
Although I will say
that's
plastics
scary.
plastics are a derivative of oil,
The petroleum products. Yep.
petroleum. So it's a derivative.
Like they break down to oil.
No, the opposite. It's a byproduct of processing oil for gas and other stuff. So
I see. I see.
I think in time, I wouldn't be surprised if they become a fuel source. I think technology will.
I agree.
And from
Some,
biodiversity, we've seen some microbes that are bacteria that in waste management sites,
Mhm.
they're eating nylon. Some of them are, and they're starting to develop
what the
bacteria
hell?
to specifically eat plastic. So these brilliant innovations are absolutely there, Neo. But with the climate change, if it goes at a hurried pace, economically,
Keeping up.
the system's going to break.
Unpredictable though.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, the system's going to break
It's going
economically.
to be hard to
And
keep up.
oh, yeah. You think of houses in floodplains when people lose their entire way of life, they lose all of their holdings. The system that we currently have to compensate you for it is going to become absolutely meaningless because the money's going to mean nothing if there is no place to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, the truth
Good point.
is global warming is happening way faster than expected. I don't know if that 2080 number holds up or not, right?
That's just
Where
a number.
At the speed that we are changing the climate on Earth, it just should not happen within a single lifetime, where we've seen the shift from global temperatures to what they are now. It's very atypical for the planet. So
Yeah, it's fast.
there's no question it's much faster than it should be happening. You're right. It would become harder, Rob, to keep up. So even if we do have technological advances, are there going to be enough
not ready.
to allow human? Right, exactly. We're not ready. So with that said, Dan, see if I was able to change your mind. Climate change is actually a good thing for the planet. Is this truth, lies, shenanigans? Did I change your minds at all?
You didn't change my mind, Neo. I
Still
think you brought great
shenanigans?
points, but it's still shenanigans to me. Still on the fence.
Okay. Rob, did I change your mind?
Oh, for the planet, yeah, I 100% acknowledge that global warming is a good thing. For humanity, well, not so much. But for the planet, we're not the first species to dominate the planet.
So truth, lies, shenanigans.
Truth.
Oh, my man. My
Wow.
man. So I guess
Rob.
it's the kicker was for the planet. So
For the planet, absolutely.
That's it. So yeah, okay.
Disclaimer,
Of course, it's truth for me. I think it actually is good for the planet, just for biodiversity and improvements for the planet. Terrible for humanity. I think and I
Terrible.
agree with everything Rob said, that humanity is a plight on this earth. I want to make that very clear. And anybody who says that global warming is not real are idiots.
Yeah.
Should
is
have opened
real.
with that as a disclaimer.
All right, that's it for this episode. I want you to go to PODZNetwork, PODZNetwork.com. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Do you believe that climate change is a good thing for our planet, even if it means the extinction of the human race? Before you go, hit that subscribe button. And I thank our co-hosts, Rob B, Gianni Storm, and of course, thank you for listening to our shenanigans. We'll see you next week.
Show.